Welcome everybody to our next instalment of our video channel. I'm Jill, behind the camera is Roger, and we are Which Way Now? So here we are up on Bodmin Moor, and I'm about to get very excited because this is where we often see Highland cattle, and I love them. They're so cute. So we're going to keep our eyes open now, and hopefully we'll see some Highland cattle. And I was right. There are lots of Highland cattle here, and including some tiny, tiny baby ones as well. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is the main reservoir in Cornwall. It's at Colliford Lake, and unfortunately this reservoir is not as full as it should be. It's May, and at this time of year the reservoir really should be overflowing with water, having had all the water from the winter, but it's actually only at about 60%. This time last year it was at 79%, this year it's at 60%. It's not really surprising that we've still got a hosepipe ban, which has been in place since last summer. Welcome to our overnight stop. At the moment we're on Davidstow airfield. Unfortunately, when we left home, the weather wasn't too bad. Now I think it's fair to say it's closed in quite a lot, and we're surrounded by grey. But we're going to stop here for the night, and hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be able to show you a little bit more of the area, because hopefully it's meant to be a nice-ish day tomorrow. We don't have champagne every time we come in the van, but actually we've got so many bottles of it at home that we've been given over the years, we thought why not this time as well. So here we are on Bodmin Moor. I chopped up my onions, starting to get dinner ready, and there was no gas. And it's probably us, but actually this little switch here, which is our Truma C switch, is showing red, which means there's no gas left in the bottle. But we know there is gas left in the bottle, and we don't know why it won't come through onto the cooker, which is really annoying. So it means basically tonight we're going to have to eat crisps and drink, and that's going to be about it. But hey ho, worse things happen at sea. So today we've definitely learnt something about our camper van. Roger spent about an hour and 20 minutes on the internet trying to look up what on earth was wrong. We tried this and we tried that. And finally we pressed a button for about 5 seconds and bingo, now our sensor shows we have gas. And the gas actually lights. But of course by now we've been gorging ourselves on crisps, so we don't really want any dinner anyway. But at least it means I can have a cup of tea in the morning. Welcome to RAF Davidstow Moor. This is where we camped last night along with about 10 other vans, and it's an old RAF base, I guess you'd say. It was used between 1942 and 1945. Basically there was a flying circus that was going around the country in 1939, and when war broke out they used their notes from all of the places where they used to land, and it was given to the RAF, and they decided to build an RAF base here. But apparently there were some things they had to do. It had to be more than 50 metres above sea level to avoid flooding, but less than 600 metres above sea level to avoid low cloud. This RAF base is 900 metres above sea level, and we think one of the reasons that it closed was because it was often covered in low cloud or fog. It's a very interesting place to be. There's a very interesting museum on the other side of the airfield over there as well. £5 to get in. It's typical Cornish quirky museum, I'd say, but it's fascinating and you can wander around at your own pace, and the people who run it are absolutely passionate about it, which is amazing. We think the things behind me here were RAF weapons stores. They're slightly set back from the airfield because apparently then if they were bombed they wouldn't then blow up any planes at the same time. When this was decommissioned in the early 1950s, it also had 3 Formula 1 races that were held here. And apparently the very first success for the Lotus team happened here on the Cornish Formula 1 circuit as well. So this is one of the old runways here at Davidstow. There were 3 runways when it was at its working operation in the 1940s. One of them was 2,000 metres long, the other ones were about 1,400 metres long. But the thing was they could only ever take planes that had 2 engines. By the time 4-engined bombers came along, they were too big for these runways and they couldn't use them. There's a couple of interesting old buildings here as well. Building up there that you can see, that's the old control tower. And one that I can see from this direction over here, that was where they used to train bombers how to drop their bombs. So they basically went in there and there were other things painted on the wall and they used to have to line things up to drop the bombs. And if you go a little bit further round behind me now, you can just about see Davidstow Creamery. And apparently that's now owned by Saputo Dairies and it's one of the biggest cheese production plants in the world. Sadly you can't go in for a tour around because it's always operational.